From New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Shubhanshu Shukla creates history, becomes the second Indian in space to embark on Axiom 4 mission to the International Space Station. US President Donald Trump asserts B-2 strikes set Iran's nuclear program back decades despite Pentagon leak indicating minimal impact. Trump adopts a conciliatory stance at The Hague, hails anticipated NATO defense spending deal as a great victory for everyone. India has taken another giant leap into the stars. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla of the Indian Air Force has made history as he becomes the second Indian to venture into space nearly 4 decades after Rakesh Sharma's legendary mission. Shukla soared into orbit early this morning aboard Axiom Mission 4, launched from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, riding a brand new SpaceX Crew Dragon atop a Falcon 9 rocket. The international mission includes astronauts from India, Poland and Hungary, marking a new era of global cooperation in space exploration. He was handpicked by ISRO for this pioneering mission, and Shukla will spend 2 weeks aboard the International Space Station. He will conduct science experiments, educational outreach, as well as commercial research. And there were the first words, these in fact were the first words from orbit spoken by the Indian astronaut Shubhanshu Shukla shortly after the Axiom 4 mission had successfully entered the Earth's orbit. Let's listen to what he said.
नमस्कार मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, व्हाट अ राइड। 40 साल बाद हम वापस अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच गए हैं और कमाल की राइड थी। और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ। ये मेरी इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन तक की जर्नी की शुरुआत नहीं है, ये भारत के ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत है। और मैं चाहता हूं कि आप सभी देशवासी इस यात्रा का हिस्सा बने। आपका भी सीना जैसे चौड़ा होना चाहिए, आप भी उतना ही एक्साइटमेंट दिखाइए। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारत के इस ह्यूमन स्पेस प्रोग्राम की जर्नी की शुरुआत करें। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
And the parents of the Indian Air Force Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla also celebrated as Axiom 4 mission lifted off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. They were overwhelmed with emotion and they joined the teachers and students of his alma mater in Lucknow to watch this event. The President of India, Draupadi Murmu, has extended her congratulations on the successful launch of Axiom 4 mission. On social media, the platform X, she stated, and I quote, "As Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla creates a new milestone in space for India, the whole nation is excited and proud of an Indian's journey into the stars." He and his fellow astronauts of Axiom Mission 4 from the US, Poland and Hungary prove the world is indeed a family. One family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. My best wishes for the success of this mission, which reflects the enduring partnership between NASA and ISRO. The wide-ranging experiments to be performed by the crew will lead to new frontiers of science studies and space exploration. And taking to X as well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wished the astronauts. He wrote on X, and I quote him now, "We welcome the successful launch of the space mission carrying astronauts from India, Hungary, Poland and the US. The Indian astronaut Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is on the way to become the first Indian to go to the International Space Station. He carries with him the wishes, hopes and aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians. Wish him and other astronauts all the success." NATO members have endorsed a landmark agreement to boost defense spending to 5% of GDP by 2035, an ambitious goal hailed by Secretary General Mark Rutte as a quantum leap for collective defense. The Hague Summit Declaration reaffirmed NATO's unity, commitment to Article 5 and its resolve to counter threats and terrorism. The 5% target includes 3.5% for core defense and 1.5% for resilience and innovation. The alliance also emphasized strengthening transatlantic defense cooperation and support for Ukraine. The next NATO summit will be held in Turkey in 2026 and Albania later. The world leaders have pledged support to Ukraine and voiced for a stronger Europe with stronger NATO. Secretary General Rutte has said that the United States is totally committed to the alliance's mutual defense clause after President Trump had appeared to cast doubt on it. Yes, we are going to go now live to The Hague. In fact, the U.S. President Donald Trump is speaking. Let's listen in.
Indefinitely, if Iran does not get access to nuclear material, which it won't. So sad that whole thing had to go. But I just want to thank our pilots. You know, they were maligned and treated very bad, demeaned by fake news CNN, which is back there, believe it or not, wasting time, nobody's watching them. They just wasted a lot of time, wasting my time. And the New York Times, they put out a story that, well, maybe they were hit, but it wasn't bad. Well, it was so bad that they ended the war. It ended the war. Somebody said in a certain way, it was so devastating, actually. If you look at Hiroshima, if you look at Nagasaki, you know, that ended the war too. This ended the war in a different way, but it was so devastating. Also, they have, out of Dubai, just came, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman. This is Iran's foreign ministry. Says it's near, its nuclear installations were very badly damaged by the American strike. So what bothered me about these reports that were fake reports put out by the New York Times, I call it the failing New York Times because it's so terrible. Without me, it would be doing no business at all. But, and by fake news, CNN and MSDNC, all of these terrible people, you know, they have no credibility. You know, when I started, they were 94% credibility, the media, now it's at 16%. And I'm very proud of it because I've exposed it for what it is. But when I saw them starting to question the caliber of the attack, was it bad? Well, it was really bad. It was devastating. They were obliterated. In fact, you can't get into the tunnels. They just put that over. They just came out. They can't. There's nothing. There's no way you can even get down. The whole thing is collapsed in a disaster. And I think all of the nuclear stuff is down there because it's very hard to remove. And we did it very quickly. When they heard we were coming, it was, you know, you can't move. It was very hard, very dangerous actually to move to. And they also knew we were coming, so I don't think too many people want to be down there knowing we're coming. With the bunker busters, as we call them, we're the only ones that have them. We have the best equipment, best nuclear equipment, and we have the best equipment in the world. And by the way, we can't forget our submarine, which was out there, submarines actually, but submarine was out there. We shot 30 rockets into an area, every single one of them. I think it was almost 400 miles away, I think, 400, and long. It was in the ocean, long ways away. And we shot a total of 30. Every single one of them hit within 9 inches from where it was supposed to be. It took it a lot. Because we didn't do just 4 of them, we did 2 others in addition, which hadn't been completely destroyed. So we hit them with a submarine from hundreds of miles away. Amazing, just amazing equipment. Greatest submarines in the world. Nobody's even close. They're 20 years behind us when it comes to submarine technology. So that's one, and the other was from the Atomic Energy Commission. And they have about 3 or 4 of them now coming in from atomic energy commissions from various places. But the one that we have that just came out, we released it a little while ago, was from the Israeli Atomic Energy Commission, but numerous of them are getting to see the site, and the site has been demolished. And again, we had these brave patriots, these incredible flyers, these people that can fly a plane better than anybody can fly a plane, going into very hostile territory, flying into the territory that has got more missiles and things pointed at it, but it was very stealth. They didn't get to see it. It was dark. That's the amazing thing about the shots. They hit the shots perfectly. Yet it was dead dark. There was no moon. There was no light. It was virtually moonless. It was very dark, and the shots were hit perfectly.
Well, the U.S. President there talking about the U.S.'s role in the Israel-Iran conflict and how the intervention of the United States had brought the war to an end. Now, moving on, the UN Cabinet, I beg your pardon, the Union Cabinet. The Union Cabinet on Wednesday passed a resolution condemning 50 years of the imposition of the emergency. And the Union Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, he said that the Cabinet at the meeting, chaired by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, observed a 2-minute silence also for the victims of the emergency.
The Union Cabinet, chaired by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, resolved to commemorate and honor the sacrifices of countless individuals who valiantly resisted the emergency and its attempt at subversion of the spirit of Indian Constitution. A subversion which began in 1974 with a heavy-handed attempt at crushing the Navnirman Andolan and Sampurn Kranti Abhiyan. To mark the occasion, a 2-minute silence was observed in today's meeting of the Union Cabinet as a tribute to those whose constitutionally guaranteed democratic rights were taken away.
The Cabinet also, in fact, lauded the successful launch of Axiom 4 mission carrying the Indian astronaut group captain Shubhanshu Shukla.
We welcome the successful launch of the space mission carrying astronauts from India, Hungary, Poland and the US. The Indian astronaut group captain Shubhanshu Shukla is on the way to become the first Indian to go to International Space Station. He carries with him the wishes, hopes and aspirations of 1.4 billion Indians. The Cabinet wishes him and other astronauts all the success.
Well, as the country marked 50 years of emergency, India's Minister of Home Affairs launched a book that chronicles Prime Minister Narendra Modi's experiences during those years. The Emergency Diaries, they shaped Prime Minister Narendra Modi's journey as a leader, relying on first-person accounts of associates who worked with him back then and other archival material. Amit Shah slammed the emergency imposed in 1975, calling it an era of injustice. And during the launch of the Emergency Diaries, Amit Shah also said that June 25 will now be known as Samvidhan Hatya Divas, to remind the younger generation of this dark period of India's democracy.
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 25 तारीख का ये दिन संविधान हत्या दिन के रूप में मनाने का सरकारी निर्णय किया है। जिस प्रकार से आपातकाल में देश को एक जेल खाना बनाकर रख दिया था, देश की आत्मा को मूंगा कर रख दिया गया था, न्यायालय के कान को बहरा कर रख दिया गया था, लिखने वालों की कलम से स्याही ही निकाल दी गई थी। वो पूरे कालखंड का वर्णन इतने कठोर शब्दों के साथ ही करना चाहिए, तभी युवा पीढ़ी को मालूम पड़ेगा कि क्या हुआ था।
Following a ceasefire with Israel, the Iranian authorities on Wednesday announced the gradual lifting of internet restrictions. The Revolutionary Guard Cyber Security Command stated via state media that the communication network is progressively returning to normal. Iran's Minister of Communications and Information Technology, Sattar Hashemi, posted on social media, and I quote, With the normalization of conditions, the state of communication access has returned to its previous condition. U.S. President Donald Trump celebrated the swift end to the Iran-Israel war, expressing hope for improved ties with Tehran and the end of its nuclear ambitions. Speaking at a NATO summit in The Hague, Trump claimed that the joint U.S.-Israeli strikes resulted in the total obliteration of Iran's nuclear capabilities and had set its atomic program back by decades.
Basically decades, because I don't think they'll ever do it again. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to take their oil, they're going to have some missiles, and they'll have some defense. I think they've had it. I mean, they just went through hell. I think they've had it. The last thing they want to do is enrich.
300 passengers, including 4 from Nepal, landed in Delhi at 4:30 Indian Standard Time from Iran. The evacuees came to Delhi on an Iranian Airlines Mahan Air under Operation Sindhu. DD India correspondent Vishal Barristow spoke to the delighted and much relieved passengers. They were carrying the Indian tricolour in their hands.
Passengers have just reached India. There you can see they are here. They are coming from Iran. बहुत ज़बरदस्त अरेंजमेंट रहा और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कहेंगे अपने प्राइम मिनिस्टर को और योगी जी को कि उन्होंने इतने अरेंजमेंट किया और इतने सही तरीके से हम लोग जो है वो ईरान से यहाँ आ गए और इन हमलों के बावजूद भी हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने इतना हमारे साथ योगदान किया. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. इंडिया की बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, अपने वतन में आए हैं. बहुत अच्छा अरेंजमेंट था और बहुत अच्छे मेहमान नवाजी की, बहुत अच्छे होटल में रखा है और हम बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के कि उन्होंने हमें यहाँ ऐसे मौके पर इस बात का सबूत दिया कि वो अपने इंडियन से मोहब्बत करते हैं. दिस एक्सप्रेसेस देयर pleasure, their happiness, their excitement to be back safely in their own country. With cameraman Arman in Delhi, this is Vishal Barristow for DD India.
The Indian embassy in Iran is playing a crucial role in the evacuation process of the Indians and foreign nationals from Iran under Operation Sindhu. Mahan Air, a private airliner, has carried more than 3,000 passengers from Iran to India. Vishal Barristow finds out more with the station manager of Mahan Airways.
Airlines carrying 300 passengers, including 4 Nepalese, has just landed here in Delhi from Iran, and I have with me the station manager Pranav Singh from Mahan Airways. Let's talk to him and find out. Pranav, how many passengers have you rescued? Your airlines have rescued from Iran.
As of now, we have operated 11 flights from Iran to Delhi, and we have carried out 3,200 passengers from Iran to here.
Now, how is this possible? Is made possible? Is it in coordination with the Indian Embassy? How is it done?
Yeah, the coordination was started from Indian Embassy. They approached to us to Mahan Air, and then they approached to here also, and it was coordinated by Indian Embassy, then MEA and DGCA. Then we have got the permission and we started our flight.
How many flights has your airlines carried out, and how long will it continue?
Most probably the information which we have, as of now we have operated on 11 flights, and the flight which is coming tonight, it will be the last flight.
One last question, how long does it take for the airlines to airlift passengers from Iran, and what is the route that it follows to India?
These flights are operating from Mashhad to Delhi. Mashhad is a city in Iran which is close to the border. It takes normally 2 hours 20 minutes from Mashhad to here.
So there you heard Pranav from Mahan Airlines. They have already rescued 3,200 passengers, and it is in coordination with the Indian Embassy. With cameraman Arman in Delhi, this is Vishal Barristow for DD India.
On the sidelines of the NATO summit, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump have begun their meeting at The Hague, and the two leaders together have been a central figure at recent summits. However, Zelensky has not been invited to the main working session with the NATO members. Apart from the ceasefire, the discussions are expected to focus on Ukraine's purchase of a defense package, a large part of which consists of air defense systems. The leaders would also discuss more sanctions against Russia and a price cap on oil. In Kenya, at least 10 people were hospitalized with gunshot injuries during rallies on Wednesday to mark the one-year anniversary of protests against an anti-tax bill. Earlier in the day, thousands of people took to the streets to commemorate demonstrations last year that left at least 60 people dead and culminated in the storming of the National Parliament. The recent outrage has reignited following the recent death of a 31-year-old blogger and teacher Albert Ojwang in police custody. The World Bank on Wednesday approved $250 million to support Lebanon's post-war rebuilding efforts and a $146 million grant to restore Syria's electricity infrastructure. The Executive Board of the World Bank has approved these two separate programs with $146 million in funding going to Syria and $250 million allocated to Lebanon to repair and re-establish lifeline services as well as to carry out sustainable management of rubble in conflict-affected areas, the World Bank said in a statement. The Lebanese Prime Minister, Nawaf Salam, welcomed this decision, calling the project a key step in reconstruction by responding to damage to critical infrastructure and essential services in the war-affected areas. India's External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar on Wednesday welcomed Vietnam's Deputy Foreign Minister Nguyen Man Xuong. Through a social media post on X, Jai Shankar had expressed his appreciation for the ongoing positive momentum in the India-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. In a major move to reduce examination stress, the Central Board of Secondary Education has announced 2 board exams. This is for the 10th standard students starting from 2026 academic year. Now, as per the new policy, students can actually appear twice in a year, once for the main exam and once for improvement if they need it. The first exam will be mandatory and only students who pass in at least 3 core subjects will be eligible for a second attempt. This change aligns with the National Education Policy 2020, aiming to make assessments more flexible, student-friendly and less high stakes.
Contained in para 4.37 of the National Education Policy, wherein it was mandated that the board should conduct 2 board exams, one for the main exam and the second for improvement if so desired. The board has finally formulated a scheme after due consultation with all the stakeholders, whereby a complete scheme for 2 board exams has been formulated and shared today in the form of a press release and a circular which will be issued to all the schools for their education, and also to make the students and the parents aware about the rubrics of the new proposal. In this particular scheme, children may appear in the first board exams starting around the middle of February, and the second board exams will be conducted in the month of May.
In the Club World Cup, Inter Milan will face River Plate at Lumen Field in Seattle on Thursday. Inter Milan have 1 win and a draw so far in the competition. They are in second place in Group E, tied on 4 points with River Plate. Now, the winner of this game will also move to the top of the group and qualify for the last 16 stage. In another crucial encounter, Borussia Dortmund will be facing off against Ulsan HD, and a win for Dortmund will put them into the round of 16, while a loss could see them out of the tournament altogether. Ulsan's campaign has already ended after back-to-back losses. They will look to finish on a high note with a win. The Brazilian football star forward Neymar has signed a 6-month contract extension with his boyhood club Santos. The 33-year-old will remain with Santos until the end of the year, with the possibility of renewing after it expires. Neymar rejoined the club in January after terminating his contract with Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal by mutual consent. Now, since returning to Santos in January, Neymar has only actually played 4 Brazilian championship matches due to a thigh injury that left him sidelined for more than a month. And that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, Get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.